Okay, here I am. I'm back. My video got mysteriously disconnected, and so I guess I'd like to start my little spiel by saying this. If I disappear, I don't mean permanently, but if I disappear from social media, from Facebook or whatever, it won't be because it was my choice to undo my account. A lot of us who are speaking out and unabashedly, I might add, are running into hardships. This is not news, but it's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter. So I just want you to always remember that if you stop seeing me here, or if you start hearing weird stuff supposedly coming from me, not that I don't, by nature of my personality, say weird stuff, but if you start seeing bizarre things coming from me, just probably isn't me. You know who I am. You know what I have to say. So question bizarreness if you start to see it, especially extreme profanity, anything that is perverse or sexual in content or any of that stuff. It's not me. And if you see me disappear somewhere, remember always that my website is patriciacori.com and my other website is syrianrevelations.net. All right, that said, so I came on today because there is so much going on. I mean, I don't want to talk about the health issue for just a moment. I want to talk about the political environment. They're always related, but good things that are happening. Trump yesterday in his speech questioned, I don't remember how the question came up from a journalist, always antagonist journalist. I don't know how he stands up to it. It is, I'd love for people to imagine or think about if they were confronted 24/7 with that kind of antagonism and aggression, how they would stand against it. And he does. He's amazing. He just always stands tall in the face of that aggressive stream of sometimes nonsensical journalistic probing, and calls them on it and throws it right back at them. And he gets a lot of slack for doing that, but I salute him because I would lose my patience much worse than he does. He manages to maintain it, and still, of course, he's human. Anyway, I'm off track now. What was I going to say about that? He was about the World Health Organization, and he said he was looking into it. And the bottom line, he didn't take someone's recommendation. They're always probing him on why he didn't do more earlier, why didn't he do better, why isn't he better? But yesterday he talked about we're looking into the WHO, and in the meantime, all this media is coming out identifying Mr. Gates, who is the man of the hour, and I say that sarcastically, who is behind the World Health Organization. Today, Trump cut off, I'm pretty sure he didn't just say he was cutting it off. He officialized that the United States will be cutting off funding to the WHO. So when you feel overwhelmed that this world is hopeless, and a lot of people are seeing the discussion of the eventually forced vaccine, the mandated vaccine, people seeing this as the end game, and lots of what's the point rhetoric from very good people. I'm here to tell you, I don't believe in the no-win scenario. Remember me quoting Captain James T. Kirk of the Starship Enterprise. I don't believe in the no-win scenario. This isn't going to happen. They're doing everything possible to make it happen. And a lot of people believe it's a foregone conclusion that it's going to happen, but not this girl. And I don't think Trump does either. And I think a lot of warriors out there recognize that the tide is turning. I've never really come all out supporting of Trump, and I remain critical of everything. I want to see policies. I want to see actions that are good for humankind and for the animals. And he falls short in some areas. He's human. I hate his policies on the ecology, but meanwhile, I'm watching this man manage, handle, and lead not only the country, but the world in this crisis, and the immensity of what that means on every level of society that has to be managed. So, I'm not 100% gung ho here, but I'm really glad we have somebody with his strength managing what needs to be done at the moment. Beyond the health issue is the question of taking down this cabal. I think he's doing it. And of course, not just he, but I think it's coming down. So I was delighted to see that we are stopping funding for the WHO, questioning international organizations, questioning these people and their mandates. And I just want to remind everybody, number one, don't think I sound like a granny. No offense to grannies. or that I'm proselytizing in any way. But a lot of people are drinking mass quantities here. Careful, people. I said this once before, I'll say it again. You don't need to be drinking in the morning because you're bored or you're afraid. Watch your drinking, because we need critical thinkers here. We need bright minds. We need clarity. We need strength. We need sobriety to watch the events that are unfolding and to support as much as possible what we understand the light to be. So careful. I mean, it's just a little thing I'm noticing, and I'd like to ask you to check your substance. I may be speaking to the wrong group. I know most of you are spiritual and holistic people, but I'm just noticing it a lot, and I thought I'd bring it up. I'd also like to bring up, I haven't seen David Icke's video yet, but it sure has stirred up a storm, eh? And I love the fact, and I want to remind people that even though we believe we're losing our power, we're losing our rights, we're losing our freedom, we're starting to see some rebellion here. We're moving out of the desperate fear, the passivity of just allowing government to tell us exactly when to breathe and how much. And we're starting to not rebel, but we're starting to turn a corner here in many ways. So stand in that. Don't forget it. Stand in that. We will eventually get to the point, and they know it, that we're not going to sit here and take it anymore. They know they have a finite amount of time to do whatever it is they're doing behind the scenes. And therefore, there is a finite time to this crisis. What follows, nobody knows. But I feel like we'll be coming out of it. I really feel that this has a finite time. And in this time, a lot's going down. And if we are looking at the fact that there seems to be a rearrangement, a reset on the economy, and a lot of stuff is going on behind the scenes with the cabal. I mean, the name shall remain nameless for the moment so that I can still keep talking to you. But keep your eyes open. Today, another thing that happened was Bernie Sanders quit the race. I know I'll take a lot of hits for the fact that I've never been a Bernie fan. I've never believed this man. Even people have thought of him as this wonderful bastion of freedom and people's rights, whatever. Never believed the rhetoric, not for a minute. And so, go ahead, hit me with the thumbs down if you wish, but I was glad to see him go. And that makes number 2 now, coming along in the race and quitting. And once again, taking all these people who believed in him on a ride, taking lots of money from people and quitting again. So, he's out of the way. So now we have Joe Biden openly fondling children in front of the cameras against President Trump. Interesting. I think it was a great thing that happened, and that we're seeing such volatility on so many levels. Every hour there's something huge happening. And so to those of you, and the reason why I started out in the first place to make this little quick message is, do what you can to look at these things and realize, oh my God, there is so much energy in motion. Volatility is still energy. And even though it appears that we're stagnant, stuck in our houses, counting the, I tell my friend Peter, I'm always counting the knots in the knotty pine ceiling in the living room while I'm lying on the couch contemplating metaphysics. But the truth is, there's a lot going on. There's so much going on in the global scene. We need to be alert. We need to be critical thinkers. We need to be present. And as much as we constantly critique and criticize social media, it's blessed. It is wonderful. Even if they censor it, if they don't, whatever, it's still a vehicle for us to speak to each other. So I'm glad that I have that outreach. What else did I want to talk about? It just popped out of my mind. I said that. It's gone. I know what I talk about. In this collection of things that is happening, boy, there sure are a lot of poles burning down. That's good. So, okay, I guess that's all I have to say. Take care of your animals, I've heard from someone today that said she can't even go, her husband went out on the beach, not here, but in another place in Portugal, to walk the cats, and he was approached by police and arrested, and then they let him go for walking the cat on the beach. So we don't use the words martial law, but can't walk out the door, you can't speak, you can't communicate on this very much without it getting taken down. I'm here. I'm still standing. That's my motto. Patricia Cori is still standing. My voice is big. And I know yours is too. And make it louder. We need to be louder. And I was talking about the animals. Sorry, I got off track. If you really are not allowed out the door, you're going to have to find some things for your pets to do in the house. So make some games or some structures, some boxes or whatever. I don't even have a clue. I've got land here, and we are not in that kind of condition here. This will pass. So tonight we'll have another speech from another press conference from Trump. But for those of you who hate his guts, I really, I would love to, first of all, stop hearing the rhetoric, the name calling coming from us. I hate these words like scumbag and bastard and all this language. We can do better than this. Let's show our superior intelligence to the dark side. Let's be critical thinkers, observing, studying the movements, the actions, the words, not the yellow face and the jokes about his hair. And if we want to make jokes about people and snide comments, there are a whole bunch of politicians that would be just a party to critique. But let's focus on the leadership of this country, which at the moment is Trump and his administration. And personally, I think he's doing a cracker job of handling this crisis. I'm amazed that anybody could be up, working that hard, that many hours, and still be coherent. You may snidely want to say, no, he's not, but he is. He's very coherent, sharp as a tack. And what you want to look at now, instead of the critique of how much you hate him, is look at this man. Look at what he's handling. Look at all the things that are against him, pushing up against him and his team. His team is questionable too. Personally, I think he's got a few of his, let's say, opposing forces right there in front of him, keeping tabs on him. I'm talking about the medical people. And that's coming out too, by the way, so keep your eye on that. But let's judge, if you're going to judge this person, let's judge him for the actions that he's taking, the way he's handling this crisis, and study him more carefully. And while you're studying him, study what the other side is doing. So now we've got Pelosi with another inquest to investigate how he handled or mishandled the coronavirus. Shame on her. Shame on anyone who is in deliberate sabotage mode. This is a time for unity. It really is. And hopefully people can step up to the plate and stop looking at the surface. It's like Bernie. Lots of great rhetoric. The world needs America. And, it comes up to the finishing line and he quits again. This is a person you would have wanted to lead the country and to be the most powerful person on the planet. Can't ever even get to the finish line, decides not to even run to the finish line. So we have a very strong man in position. You may hate his guts, you may hate his personality, but recognize him for his strength. And I stand behind that. I do. I'm not ashamed to pronounce that. It's taken me a while to come out and speak that. But I watch this man and I believe he is earnest and determined. And let's see if we're right. Okay, it takes courage to come out and speak your truth. I hope you appreciate that I'm doing that from the heart. And I know that you trust my ethics. And you don't have to agree with me, but please trust where I'm coming from. That's all I ask. All right, guys, this was my message of love to you. So to the people who are in this state of depression, we're not in a perpetuation of this crisis. It cannot endure. It can't. Because remember, I've said this before, they don't want to break the country, the world. They want to control it. And if the Kabul comes down, they're not going to be controlling it. So keep your eyes open, keep your heart open, keep your mind clear, and be careful of your words. Let's raise the frequency of our language and stop the name calling. When I hear people say he's a fucking moron, I don't like it. We can do better than that. And we should. Let's use this tool to communicate our intelligence, our knowledge, our wisdom, not our anger, not our rage. All right? That's me. Don't want to start sermonizing. Thank you for tuning in. I hope everybody's having a good day. And I will see you soon. In the meantime, watch the news. Man, this is so exciting. I'm going to be looking tonight. It will be, I don't know what time it's coming on. Watching President Trump to, the spiel is always about the virus, but he drops these hints. And I don't think it's because I'm looking for it or I'm reading into it. He keeps making comments, if you're really paying attention, that have double meaning, triple meaning. And one of the things that's very important is that he keeps talking about vaccines in a way of saying, yes, of course we want to investigate and develop a vaccine, because he has to say that to keep the world off his back. But he keeps saying, but we don't know about them. It's going to take a long time to trust a vaccine. He said that in yesterday. He said before we can trust any of that, it's going to take a year and a half. But we need to develop treatment. And then he went on to talk about hydroquinone, which I may have not pronounced correctly. And people are trying to condemn him, saying that it kills people and there's no proof it works and it could be harmful, whatever. And it's like, you know what? If I was on my deathbed in a hospital breathing my last oxygen through a ventilator and somebody handed me hydroquinone, I would take it immediately. And I am a person who doesn't take meds. So let me have the choice to make that decision, not a bunch of holier than thou people, not a lot of antagonistic journalists and media and medics. But by the way, all kinds of doctors have come out and have verified that they've been using it for malaria and for lupus for years without any problems. I love that Trump says we need to work on treatment and cure. And, the guys that want to stick a needle in your arm and vaccinate the entire planet don't want a cure, don't want a treatment. They want a vaccine. Get it? So celebrate the fact that President Trump continuously says, Yes, yes, okay, great. We'll look for it. In the meantime, what we want is a treatment. We want to stop this thing, right? Yes, Damien, I hate his ecological policies, but right now it's not important. And it's not important because everything else is so much more important, and because we're seeing extraordinary um, response from the ecological environment. The animals are walking along the streets. I'm seeing peacocks in the streets in Madrid, deer walking through the cities. Yeah, I saw a video of swans in the river in London, which is not a place you would put your feet in. Swans and seals and dolphins in Venice, although somebody said it wasn't, it was fake journalism, but I don't think it was. The water is clean. So, yes, I'd love to see a better ecological policy from Trump, but right now he's got a little bit more on his plate to deal with. It's important to recognize those things and not be an all-out endorser of any man or woman. To acknowledge the good that they're doing and to speak out against those issues that you don't support or that you contrast. We know, we believe that they're taking the children out of these tunnels. There's a lot of information available. So even on my page, you can find videos about. I avoid anything that shows any tragedy from the point of view of torture. Any images whatsoever of torture of children will not be allowed on my page, in my consciousness, anywhere to do with Patricia Cori. I won't tolerate it for a minute because I can't. I just can't. It's all I can do to handle pictures of suffering animals and suffering, starving people and children. But if people are going to start showing children in cages and all the torture they're going through, I can't do it. So I've already said this, these people will be blocked immediately. So what I try to always present on my page is, first of all, I'm looking for an uptick here. Even with the bad news, I'm looking for an uptick. I'm looking for a positive outcome from it, not just terror, 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 fear, horror, fear, powerless terror, terror. No, let's get valid information, critique it. What do I draw from this that gives me power and strength? That's who I am. That's how I roll. And that's what you'll find always on my page. And the other thing you'll find is me calling out anybody that resorts to name calling or attacking or snide comment about me or anyone else. It goes, bingo. It's really weird. I have no problem immediately deleting someone, blocking someone, even people that have been on my friends list for years. Even people that I've shared a lot of wonderful information with won't tolerate it, period. So that's me. And it keeps my world cleaner. It keeps my slate clear. I have to be clear. I have to be a critical thinker, as Carlin said. What we want is critical thinkers. No, no, no. That doesn't serve their agenda. They want slaves. And I'm not a slave. I'm a critical thinker. I'm looking, studying, and examining, calling everyone who comes in contact with me to do the same. So thank you for being in contact with me and for doing the same. And keep sending out all that good information. And remember, I know you're overwhelmed. A lot of us are, we're closed in. Personally, I love my house so much that I don't really have a problem being home. But a little people contact wouldn't be too shabby either. And please keep the energy high. Know that this is not going to last. What we're going to have after this, we don't know yet. But this is not going to last. They can't sustain it. And I think that whatever is behind this global shutdown knows that. They can't wait too much longer because the natives will get restless. So stay calm, all right? Cook, paint, be happy. Strive to be happy. And remember the Desiderata says, with all its sham and drudgery, it's still a beautiful world. Strive to be happy. We'll get through this. Okay? This is your Mama Bear, Patricia Cori, signing out. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being you.